Welcome back to Tales by WZ. In today's story, we explore this moment. My girlfriend's friends set up a test where she'd pretend to break up with me. As you listen, notice the point where you think he should have walked away for good. My girlfriend said, "It's over." I replied, "Now I can stop pretending." Then I walked out, blocked her number, saved the proof of her test and office affair, and just watched as her friend's job and reputation started crumbling around her. I am 28 and my ex is 27. We were together for about 2.5 years. We did not live together, which turned out to be a blessing. She had her place. I had mine. We had even talked about moving in together next year, but for the last few months something felt off. It started small. Her phone started living face down on the table. She got vague about her day. She got defensive over basic questions about work and plans. Nothing huge on its own, but enough to make my gut feel tight. One Saturday night, I was at her apartment. I thought it was just a normal hangout. Her two best friends were there too. That was not strange. They often came over before going out. I was on the couch scrolling my phone when she muted the TV. "We need to talk," she said. Her voice sounded rehearsed, like she had practiced it. Her two friends were watching me like a live show. One had her phone out, angled toward me, clearly recording. The other was leaning forward, eyes wide, like she was waiting for a crash, already a red flag. If you need an audience to talk, you are not really trying to talk. "Okay," I said slowly. She took a breath. "I've been thinking a lot lately and I think we should break up. It's over between us." The room went silent. I looked at her, then at her friends. One friend was biting her lip to hide a smile. The other kept darting her eyes between us, phone locked on my face. And that was when it clicked. They thought I did not know. But 3 weeks earlier, my girlfriend had left her laptop open at my place while she showered. A notification had popped up from her group chat. The preview said, "The test will show if he really loves her." I wish I could say I just ignored it. I did not. I clicked. In that chat, I saw them planning a fake breakup. Her friends had decided that real love meant I should cry, beg, and fight if she said it was over. Their idea was simple and twisted. She would fake dump me. If I broke down and begged, I passed the test. If I stayed calm or accepted it, I clearly did not love her enough and she should leave me for real. Anytime you need to stage a breakup to measure love, you have already broken trust. But that was not the only thing I found. Scrolling further up, I saw older messages. My girlfriend complaining about a coworker who had been flirting with her. Her friends telling her to see what is out there. Screenshots of texts between her and that coworker. They were not about projects or meetings. He told her she was beautiful. She sent him heart emojis. He said he could not stop thinking about her. She said he gets her in ways I do not. They talked about grabbing drinks. She never mentioned those plans to me. After that, I started paying attention. She suddenly had late nights at work twice a week. Her phone never left her side. New passwords. New clothes. Better makeup for regular office days. I did not confront her. I wanted to be sure, and honestly, I needed time to sit with what I had seen. For 3 weeks, I lived with that knowledge and said nothing. So when she looked me in the eye on that couch and said, "It's over between us," I saw my chance. I put my phone down. I looked straight at her and said, with real relief in my voice, "Oh, thank God. Finally. Now I can stop pretending I don't know about you and your coworker." The silence after that was heavy. Her closest friend's jaw dropped. The other fumbled her phone. My girlfriend's face went from smug and sure to pure panic in half a second. The color left her face. "What?" she stammered. "Yeah," I said. "Him, the one you keep meeting after those late nights. The one texting you about how you are the most beautiful woman in the office. That guy." Her mouth opened and closed. "How do you even?" "It doesn't matter how I know," I said. "What matters is that I know. So if you want to break up, I am relieved. You just saved me from a very awkward talk I was not looking forward to." I stood up and grabbed my jacket. Her friends were frozen. This was not the script they had written. They wanted a broken man begging at her feet. Instead, they got calm, clean exit, and a bomb they did not see coming. "Wait, wait," her best friend said, jumping up and waving her hands. "This was just a test. She was not really breaking up with you. It was just to see if you would fight for her. I laughed. I could not help it. A test, I said. So my girlfriend of 2.5 years fake dumped me in front of an audience to see if I would cry on camera. And that is what you want to focus on, not the part where she is flirting with a coworker behind my back. My girlfriend started crying for real now, not the staged tears she had been lining up a minute earlier. It is not what you think, she said. Nothing happened with him. We are just friends from work. The messages said something else. But I was past the point of debating. Sometimes you do not need a confession, you just need to accept what you already know. You wanted to play games, I said. You just learned I am not playing the same game. I walked toward the door. Her best friend stepped in front of me. You cannot just leave, she said. You are overreacting. Whatever you think you saw is probably nothing. Move, I said. Something in my face must have shown I was done. She stepped aside. I left, walked to my car, blocked my ex's number before I even pulled out of the parking lot. My hands were shaking on the drive home, not from rage, from relief. It felt like I had been holding my breath for 3 weeks and finally exhaled. It hurt, but the hurt was cleaner than the suspicion I had been carrying. About 4 days later, the fallout started. Since her number was blocked, she began using every phone she could get. Her friends' phones, her mom's phone, random numbers. I blocked around 15 numbers in 4 days. The voicemails ranged from sobbing apologies to angry speeches. Baby, please, it was not what it looked like. Call me back. You are being so immature. You are throwing away 2 years over nothing. This is emotional abuse. Silent treatment is abuse. Her best friend left one calling me a psychopath for manipulating an innocent test. In her mind, I had turned their trap back on them, so that made me dangerous. Her other friends sent a wall of text, around 12 paragraphs, telling me their little stunt was scientifically designed to measure emotional attachment. She said my calm reaction proved I never loved my ex. She even cited short videos she watched about attachment styles as her source. I saved that one just to remind myself how far people will go to protect a bad idea. Then my ex started showing up in person. One afternoon, I came home from work and found her in the hallway outside my door, eyes puffy, hair messy, clutching her phone. She must have followed another tenant inside since she could not buzz me. Please, she said at once, just let me explain. 5 minutes, that is all I am asking. There is nothing to explain, I said. You tested me. I failed your test, and I know you were getting close to your coworker. We are done. I did not sleep with him, she said, her voice echoing down the hall. Keep your voice down, I replied. My neighbors do not need this. Nothing physical happened, she said. It was just texting, just flirting. It did not mean anything. I never would have actually done anything. Cool, I said. So emotional cheating does not count. Good to know where your line is. She started crying harder. Mascara streaked down her cheeks. You do not understand, she said. You have been so distant, so focused on work. He made me feel seen, appreciated, wanted. This is a classic move. Turn your choice into the other person's fault and call it unmet needs. You are really standing here blaming me, I said, for you flirting with another guy while your friends planned a fake breakup to test me. You hear how wild that sounds, right? She wiped at her eyes. The test was stupid. I know that now. I should not have listened to them, but what we have is real. You cannot just throw away 2.5 years over one mistake. You threw it away when you started hiding things, I said. I am just accepting the reality you created. She grabbed my arm and held on tight. Please, she said. I will do anything. Couples therapy, whatever you want. I will quit my job so I never see him again. I will cut off my friends, whatever it takes. That is not needed, I said. We are done. Please leave. She did not. She sat down on the hallway floor back against the wall and said she was not moving until I talked to her for real. So I went inside, locked my door, and called building security. 15 minutes later, I heard them asking her to leave. She kept saying I was her boyfriend and it was all a misunderstanding. Security only cared about the lease. She was not on it. She had to go. The next morning her mom called. I always got along with her mom. She cooked for us at holidays and seemed kind. I thought maybe she would be the logical voice. Sweetheart, she said. She always called me that. I heard what happened. I am so sorry my daughter put you through that silly test. It was wrong, but you have to understand she is devastated. She made a mistake with that coworker, but nothing physical happened. Can you please forgive her? She loves you so much. Ma'am, I said, I respect you, so I am going to be honest. Your daughter did not just make a mistake. She kept an emotional thing going with another man while planning to test if I loved her enough. That is not one slip, that is a pattern. She loves you, her mom said. She has been crying for days. She is not eating or sleeping. This is destroying her. I believe she is upset, I said, but being upset is not the same as being sorry. It sounds like she is sad she got caught, not sad she did it. There was a long pause. Then her voice changed. It got harder. You know, she said, I always thought you were a good young man. I welcomed you into my home. But walking out on my daughter when she needs you most is cruel. Real men fight for their relationships. Real men do not abandon ship at the first sign of trouble. Notice how fast concern for her turned into judgment of me. That shift says a lot. Real relationships do not need tests and backup options, I said. Take care of yourself, ma'am. I hung up. 5 minutes later, a new unknown number texted that I would regret this and that her daughter deserved better. Blocked. Around 10 days after the breakup, things escalated. My ex started popping up at random times, buzzing my apartment at 11 at night, showing up at 6:30 in the morning. Sometimes alone, sometimes with her friends standing beside her like a small army. One morning as I walked out to my car, her best friend was leaning against it, arms crossed. You know she tried to hurt herself, right? She said. Because of you, I stopped. Is she okay? Oh, now you care, she said. Now you are concerned. Is she okay? I repeated. She is fine, she said. It was not serious, but she is not eating, not sleeping. She had to take time off work. This is destroying her life and you are just living yours like nothing happened. If she is struggling with her mental health, I said, she needs a doctor, not me taking her back. That will not fix what is underneath. You are heartless, she snapped. 2.5 years together and you just shut off your emotions like a robot. What is wrong with you? I processed my emotions when I found out about the coworker, I said. I had 3 weeks to sit with it before your little test. What you saw that night was not me shutting off. It was me being done. She did not have much to say to that. She just stood there, opening and closing her mouth. 2 days later, my landlord called. Someone had filed an anonymous complaint. They claimed I was running an illegal business out of my apartment. They said there was loud noise at all hours, suspicious visitors. They even hinted at drug activity. My landlord has known me for 3 years. I pay on time. I stay quiet. He told me he did not believe any of it, but building policy meant he had to check in. I explained the breakup and the harassment. He noted it in my file and told me to let him know if anything else happened. This is where some people give in just to make the pressure stop. But giving in to harassment rarely makes it end. It only teaches people that pressure works. Then the friend group got involved. Mutual friends started sending messages, all with the same tone. Hey, what really happened? Which is code for we already heard her side. One guy I had been close to wrote that he heard I had stalked her, gone through her phone and laptop and scared her. I replied with a short version of the truth. The test, the coworker, my choice to leave. His answer was, I do not know, man, that is not what she is saying. She says you were controlling and she was trying to get out. At that point, I stopped trying to convince him. People who want to believe a story will hold on to it. What pushed me from defense to offense was what I heard next. A coworker of mine knew someone at her job. Through them, I learned my ex had been telling people at her office that I was stalking her and that she was afraid of me. She was building a record of fear, just in case she wanted to take things legal later. That was when I decided to protect myself properly. First, I documented everything. Every voicemail went to the cloud. Every text got a screenshot with the date. Every time she or her friends came to my building, I wrote the date, time, and what happened. I kept a note about the fake complaint to my landlord. I built a spreadsheet like I was building a case. Second, I hired a real lawyer. Not a friend who knows the law, an actual attorney who works with harassment cases. I showed him everything. He said I had more than enough for a cease and desist, and that if it kept going, we could ask for a restraining order. He drafted the letter that day. Calm paperwork is not exciting, but it can save you more than any dramatic speech. Third, I made one phone call of my own. I called the coworker, the married one from the texts. I did not call his wife. I did not want to drag her into it myself, but I did call him. He picked up, confused. "Hey," I said, "you do not know me. I am the ex-boyfriend of the woman you have been texting. The one you told your wife does not matter." Silence. "I am not calling to threaten you or ask for anything," I said, "but I have screenshots of every message you sent her, the ones about how I did not appreciate her, the ones about meeting behind your wife's back, the ones where you call her beautiful and she sends hearts." He finally asked what I wanted. "Nothing from you," I said. "No money, no apology. Here is the deal. Your affair partner and her friends have been harassing me for almost 2 weeks, showing up at my home, trying to get me evicted, spreading lies. You are going to tell her to leave me alone completely. No more contact, no more games ever. If she does not stop, those screenshots might end up with HR or your wife." "I do not want that, I just want to be left alone." He said it was blackmail. "No," I said, "it is a warning, a courtesy. You change what you can on your side, I go back to my life." He agreed very quickly. The next morning, my lawyer sent the cease and desist letter to my ex and to her best friend by certified mail. It laid everything out. The visits, the buzzing, the fake complaint, the rumors. It said any more contact would mean legal action. The silence after that letter was almost total. About 3 weeks later, my lawyer called. He had received a letter from her new attorney. She was demanding $5,000 for emotional distress, deletion of all my evidence, a written apology for defamation, and a promise I would never contact her coworker again. I actually laughed when he read it out loud. The nerve was something else. His reply was simple. He pointed out that she was the one who came to my home and tried to harm my record as a tenant. I had proof of harassment and proof of her messages with the coworker. He reminded them that truth is a defense against defamation, and that any lawsuit would mean all those messages became part of the case file, which her coworker's wife could see. We never heard from her lawyer again. The coworker situation blew up next. I did not send anything to his wife. I did not have to. According to the same coworker who had been feeding me updates, my ex confronted him at work, loudly, in front of people. She accused him of choosing his wife over her, of betraying her, of leaving her to deal with the mess. HR stepped in. An investigation started. Their company already had complaints about him from the past. My ex's outburst and their old messages gave them what they needed. He got fired for creating a hostile work environment. Everyone knew the real story. My ex did not get fired, but she was put on a performance plan. She got so embarrassed she quit 2 weeks later. Walking past coworkers who know your secrets is not easy. She moved back in with her parents. She had no job. Her friend group started to split. The people who had pushed her toward the test felt guilty. She resented them for it. Shared guilt is not as bonding as people think. Her best friend, the one who planned the test, blocked me after the cease and desist. In her mind, I was the aggressor. Her mom told people I had ruined her daughter's life and that she always knew something was off about me. The people who knew the full story pushed back, but she held onto her version. Some people would rather sit in a story than change it. As for me, I am okay. Not amazing, not broken, just okay in a real way. 2.5 years is still a long time. Even after everything, there are days when I miss what I thought we had. The good times were real to me, even if the base under them was weak. I am spending more time with my real friends. The ones who said, "That is insane, are you all right?" instead of, "Maybe you should have tried harder for her." My sister checks in often. My mom sent me a box of my favorite snacks. It was kind of funny to get that at 28, but it also reminded me I still have people in my corner. I am not dating yet. I have not opened a single app. I do not have the energy for that. For now, I am just enjoying the quiet. No more tests, no more face-down phones, no more late work nights that feel wrong, no more gut feelings I have to ignore to keep the peace. The thought that stays with me most is this: if I had not seen that laptop notification, I might never have known. If she had been a little more careful, if I had not clicked, I would have walked into that test, begged and cried like they wanted, and they would have called it proof of love. She would have stayed, felt validated, and kept whatever she had going with her coworker. So in a strange way, I am grateful for bad timing and a careless laptop. Do I regret anything? Not really. I do not regret walking away. I do not regret keeping records or getting a lawyer. I do not even regret calling the coworker. At that point, it felt like returning serve after they tried to wreck my housing and my name. The only thing I might have changed is when I left. The moment I saw those texts 3 weeks before the test, I could have ended it. Instead, I stayed and pretended everything was fine while I processed. That gave me 3 more weeks of lying next to someone who was lying about me. That level of pretending is its own kind of exhaustion. Here are some lessons I took from all of this. Lesson 1. If someone needs to test your love with a fake breakup, they already do not trust you, and they do not trust themselves. Lesson 2. Emotional cheating is still cheating. Calling it just texting does not make it harmless. Lesson 3. When someone hides things, builds backup options, and then calls you cruel for walking away, they are not looking for a partner. They are looking for control. Lesson 4. Documenting and setting legal boundaries is not overreacting. It is how you protect your future when someone will not respect your limits. Lesson 5. You do not owe a person who tests you and lies to you a chance to fix the story. You are allowed to leave quietly and protect your peace. Lesson 6. The people someone keeps around them and the advice those people give tell you a lot about who they are willing to be. Believe that pattern the first time. What would you have done after seeing those messages and living through that test? Have you ever been in a relationship where you felt like the one being tested instead of the one being trusted? Share your thoughts in the comments.